with my figure collection being infested with the likes of particular entities that disrupt the state of balance through being a creature of extraterrestrial origins, is heralded as a supreme being that holds great power and is beyond human comprehension, and taints the blood of man in order to propagate the future prosperity of the species.
You will bear me a son.
It was time for the Xeno, Mutant, and Heretic hybrid to get a good old taste of
freedom.
And who better to handle the looming situation than the manliest man of the Imperium, Chapter Master Calgar of the Ultramarines. Now, if you've seen my previous video regarding Lieutenant Titus, the Joytoy line scales at 1 out of 18 scale result in a relatively smaller build than their Figma or Figos contemporaries, which might have been for the better, as those from the Warhammer universe, regardless whether you're man or beast, duke out not only your average citizen but even come close to kaiju scale figures, in which, if you have the misfortune of being a completionist, the real estate market is your final goal. And if you thought your average Ultramarine was tall, Calgar will break any sense of scale you have left, as he stands at roughly 13.5 centimeters without the helmet, or 5.3 inches tall, which might not sound that tall next to your other addictions, but that 8.6 centimeter give more than compensates for such height, and probably puts the likes of Astolfo on the defense. Here's the Steam Chapter Master next to Machine Whisperer, Tyranids, Heretics, Mutants, and fellow son of Gilliman. But if you thought the guff of our titular Silver Fox was impressive, you haven't seen anything yet, as just like Lieutenant Titus beforehand, Chapter Master Calgar retains the extra risk factor that our friends through their ancient Chinese communist sorcery skillfully implemented into their miniature mold. This is firstly seen through the Calgar's Giga Chad face that, while compared to the likes of his fellow Ultramarines, does bear the battle-hardened experience, still retains the extra risk factor from the silver hair, the testosterone-filled nose, the hardened cheeks, joyless mouth that, just like Titus, has never seen action before, and the Sigma male chin. But what differentiates Calgar from his Marines is his eye that not only retains the high level of focus, but after his unpleasant experience with the Tyranids beforehand, is armed with a mechanical one that with the high level of details aids in Calgar easily identifying targets from afar in order to avoid any ambushes that lay await. If you know, you know. But if you think Calgar's risk-inducing face is a little too welcoming, Joytoy has got you covered, as there is the Commander helmet that, unlike your typical Ultramarine helmet, possesses the extra aura in large part thanks to the Roman-inspired golden feather on top that signifies Calgar's Chapter Master rank, especially with the superbly sculpted and colored details inscribed, not to mention the extra night vision sight located at the left eye. But maybe the most innovative aspect regarding the helmet is that, just like Figma's version of the Born Druid, with the help of some CR927 batteries, lights up, not only adding some extra glow to Calgar, but also incites fear into the eyes of both the filthy Xenos and Heretics. But moving further down, what differentiates Calgar from the rest of the Ultramarines is the Chapter Master insignia, that, while composed of a soft plastic, is still intricately sculpted, alongside the honor strap around his chest that can also be seen on those honor guards that also stick next to Lord Calgar. This does not mention the massive shoulder armor that, the left one with the Ultramarine insignia and golden skull in the middle, is more or less similar to those seen on the rest of his Ultramarines. It's the right armor that highlights Lord Calgar's true power, as the two-headed eagle, rather than symbolizing the greater demon of Chenchi, acts as Calgar's Chapter Master status, all more or less identical to Division Commander. But maybe the highlight that enables Lord Calgar to shine are the two massive gauntlets of Ultramar that, with the increased mass and added kinetic force, allows Calgar to be a master of death at close range, putting even the likes of physically superior Tyranids and chaos-enhanced heretics to Kingdom Come. But these fists aren't exclusively lethal at close range, as they come with a bolter underneath that would clip vet rounds, allowing Calgar to feed lead to those that need some imperial preaching, because there's no better cure when negotiating with Xenos than with a good old lead. But just like any other Ultramarine, it's in the legs that the true foundations lie, as not only are they extra gassy that they can withhold the already massive upper torso of our titular Chapter Master, but the dual-headed eagle is also embedded on the thighs, which Calgar's just narcissistic at this point. But a good offense would be nothing without a good defense, in which Calgar comes equipped with, as the Orthodox Church-esque decoration isn't just there for show, as when a powerful psychic attack is activated, the said decoration activates a shield that protects the wielder from incoming attacks, making Calgar a formidable threat to even heretics who possess ranged attacks. But that's not where the magic ends, as moving below is the titular portable nuclear-powered fuel pack that provides enough energy to power the iconic power armor. But unlike those seen on the standard Ultramarines, is that besides Calgar's at this point narcissistic nature, are the extra heat release vents on the front that's more or less there to release the excess heat from the shield, in order for a son of Gilliman to perform at its full potential, rather than being a Middle Eastern radical. But what personifies true power than a cape, as numerous figures whom possess great power and authority were fitted with a cape regardless of their affiliation, and Lord Calgar is no exception, as our titular Chapter Master comes in hand with a red cape that not only contrasts with the Ultramarines' blue color scheme, allows Calgar to flex his drip and makes him stand tall and proud as the leader of the Ultramarines he is. But if you thought the good deeds ended here, you're gravely mistaken. As unlike their kaiju contemporaries, Warhammer figures, regardless if they're 40K or from the Horus Heresy, are accompanied by a vast assortment of accessories that, unlike a particular few that serves no purpose, the ones seen here contributing the owner to aid in replicating their on-screen appearance, and Marneus Calgar is no exception. Firstly, there are your extra girthy fists that, when attached, unlock the full potential of the Gauntlets of Ultramar, allowing Calgar to not only punch his way through enemy hordes with the amplified strength, making short work out of both Tyranids and Heretics, but also come in handy when fisting. But if the fists are a little too masculine for your taste, there are these pointing hands that this time around has the two index fingers pointed out. That is useful when Lord Calgar is issuing commands to his Ultramarines, but it's more suited when Calgar is fingering. Then there is this accompanying stand that, while it serves its purpose faithfully, isn't really necessary in the case of Space Marines, as their girthy foundation does all the hard work, and instead more applicable to the slim-legged entities such as the Tyranids. Now, talking about posability, while Lord Calgar might look like a giant that due to his extra girthy power armor may be more or less stiff, where have I heard that before? Well, he's more limited than your typical Ultramarine. That's not to say he's too old to dance on stage, as Joytoy this time around implemented their state-of-the-art joints such as the double-sided one that makes this figure on par with the likes of his Nihon contemporaries. The head without the helmet can freely move side to side, but up and down movement is limited due to the armor, while the torso can freely pull off a stomach crouch. Chiropractors are likely to be disappointed, in large part due to the cape, though side-to-side movement puts even the likes of Figma figures to shame, and just like Titus beforehand, due to the butterfly joints allows for some dynamic bends, not to mention that the shoulders themselves are capable of pulling off similar feats. A full-on bicep movement, elbows while being attached by a double-sided joint due to the innate girth that the gauntlets of Ultramar possess, only can bend up to 90 degrees. But a slick new wrist movement is surely a welcome introduction, limited hand movement, and while leg posability is superbly engineered, just like the arms, the massive nature of the girthy foundations limits the full stretch potential. A double-sided knee joint allows for some impressive knee bend, feet movement that, considering the extra protection, is impressive, and a toe bend. Joytoy has brought us another great release once again, as their version of Marneus Calgar retains all the factors that stack up to make this one of the best figures I've laid my hands on this year. From the immaculate sculpt that surpasses those seen on even higher toys, the diverse range of posability that puts even Figment figures to shame, and the unsurpassed guff that not only puts it on par with the likes of Shimo, but it's also as thick as my d. And while our titular Chapter Master may come with less accessories than our Warp Immune Space Marine, they are more than enough in replicating Calgar's on-screen appearance. All of which, when combined, makes me eagerly drooling over what Joytoy has next for the Warhammer line. With all that said, I would definitely recommend Marneus Calgar to all Warhammer fans out there right now, and will give the Chapter Master of the Ultramarines a ranking of an A+.